Hi there, welcome to Grain TV. It's Friday, September 30th, an update in the markets. Let's take a look at Grain Edge's trading platform and see where we closed. In Chicago, corn, the leader to the upside, gaining 7 cents a bushel, beans up 3 1/4, and wheat up at 3 cents as well in Chicago. News today was pretty much focused on the USDA stocks report as well as the wheat crop summary, and we'll get to those numbers in a minute. But first, let's talk about some of the stuff that came out this morning. First of all, another round of export sales for beans. This time, 2 deals announced, 118,000 metric tons to China and another 198,000 metric tons to unknown. That was certainly positive. We continue to have day after day of good export news, but yet the market continues to focus on very good crop yields that are coming out of the fields. Other news out, there was some discussion about the Mississippi River and the fact that the river is going to close around Lock 17 in Illinois for the next 4 or 5 days because of the flooding problems. That is certainly problematic in light of the onset of harvest and the fact that we need to move those beans and those corn down the river. So slowing down any sort of transportation is certainly negative for the basis that is starting to show signs of coming under pressure. But let's talk about what USDA found in their quarterly stock survey. Keep in mind, this is actually a survey of stocks on hand as opposed to their monthly WASDE reports that give us ending stocks forecasts. So these surveys are sort of a really good number to focus on because they give us an estimate, if you will, of how good feed usage is coming along. And in the case of wheat, unfortunately, wheat stocks came in much higher than expected, coming in at 2.5 billion bushels, 2.527 billion bushels versus 2.397 expected. What that means is that there was very little wheat feeding going on in the third quarter of the year. That's contrary to what USDA has been telling us would be happening, is that wheat would find its way into feeding channels, and because of these high stocks numbers, we're going to have to revise that expectation. Corn and beans came in slightly better than expected. Corn coming in at 1738 versus 1754 expected, and beans coming in just 4 million bushels below expectations. On the wheat production side, we did see an overall lowering of the wheat number from 2.323 expected to 2.31. That was really a reflection of spring wheat going off quite a bit from from the forecast, falling to 534 versus 570. Hard red winter wheat was higher than expected. Soft red winter wheat east of the Mississippi River was smaller than expected. So what this really means, especially for those in the northern part of the country, spring wheat is going to continue to fetch a premium. Protein is going to be a scarce resource, even though there's an abundance of wheat. So protein premiums will certainly start to ratchet higher as a result of this news. Speaking of protein premiums and basis, let's take a look at what basis has done here lately. We've been talking about this a little bit in the last few episodes, but let's take a look systematically at the maps of how basis has changed in the last week. And what we can see, first of all, starting with corn, is that basis is not overall sharply lower here, only off 1 cent on average in the week. In red, you'll have some areas that are -3 or more. Those tend to be along the river, as we've been talking about. The river is certainly areas where we've seen basis levels start to weaken. But overall, corn has held up pretty well, and that's because many farmers haven't really got into corn cutting, although we're starting to hear some reports of some farmers in the key Midwest states starting to turn to corn. We're hearing anecdotal evidence that those corn numbers are much higher than what some of the clients had expected to see, not just a few bushels higher, but in the neighborhood of 40 to 50 bushel an acre better. And so we really think corn basis is probably going to come under a lot of strain as farmers start to turn their attention to corn. We have seen most of the farmers really in the key Midwest states start to focus on beans, and that will probably shift in the not too distant future to corn. In bean basis, we've seen a much more dramatic decline. We've talked about 15 to 20 cent losses here in the last few weeks. On average in the U.S., we were off about 9 cents in the last week. And again, the river terminals have been the areas that have been hit hardest. The processing facilities have been holding up fairly well, but they will obviously start to crack as well as more of the hard harvest starts to find its way through the pipeline. So take that in mind, that if you're trying to market grain off the combine, it's better to do it sooner rather than later, because basis will continue to erode as we get further and further along in this harvest. Futures as well, I suspect, will probably start to turn lower as we get more and more into the full brunt of the harvest season. Again, many of the farmers that we're talking to are hearing, or we're hearing from them, that they are running out of storage space, going to have much higher production than what they expected, and that excess capacity is going to find its way into the marketplace, which potentially poses problems for lower prices in the coming weeks. That's all we've got for today on Grain TV. As always, visit us online at grainhedge.com to learn how we can help you in your own grain marketing situation. As a Grain Edge trading client, you'll get our technical alerts email first thing every trading day. Technical Alerts is a powerful system that generates quality trading opportunities. Each trading opportunity shows a chart and analysis providing clear price targets and risk potential. Technical Alerts look at historical chart formations and compare the current environment to the past to form concrete trading recommendations. The commodities covered by Technical Alerts includes grains, livestock, crude oil, currencies, bonds, and metals. Start your trading day with the most powerful insight into market direction and improve your trading today. Sign up at grainhedge.com to become a client.